I guess maybe a question for you, David. How do you anticipate that the current shifts in the global trade environment are actually having an effect practically on supply chain businesses, and what advice or focus areas we should suggest people really dive into from the business side?
I mean, the reality is this is not new for us. We don't get into procurement because it's a fun and a sexy job, right? We get into procurement because we're good at solving problems. And this is just another example of how important supplier resiliency is. And when we think about supplier resiliency, we've taken a lot of punches in the last decade, right? Whether it's vessels getting stuck, whether it's COVID. The way I look at it, irrespective of whether it's my ability to get the product on time, on site, or whether it's my ability to get the product on site in an affordable manner, ultimately it will affect the customer. So when we talk about supplier resiliency, whether it's the cost of the goods to bring them in so that we can maintain our profit margins so we can continue to serve our customers, or whether it's our physical ability to bring the goods in, this has to be one of our primary focal points in procurement. We all know this. But what's interesting is we seem to all have very short memories. And I'm pretty sure that everyone in this room had an oh crap moment, very similar to what happened with COVID, very similar to what happened when we had the other supply chain disruptions, where the question came and said, what is our exposure? And the answer usually is a long time in coming. So at the end of the day, I think this is a situation where we should be prepared and we should consider the supplier resiliency holistically, whether it's cost or the availability of product. And it should be part of our DNA to constantly improve the resilience and agility of our supply chains.
I think that's a great answer. I couldn't agree with you more. Pulling the thread a little bit farther, how does an organization know, whether they've actually achieved a reasonable level of resiliency? Is there a way to know?
So honestly, I think it's one of those things where it never ends, right? The reality is that you're going to plan, and 9 times out of 10, what's going to bite you in the butt is not going to be the stuff that you saw coming. It's going to be the things that you couldn't see around the corner. But building that muscle of agility and responding fast and having mechanisms to dive deep into the problem, get the data that you need to make decisions, and react fast is something that should be part of our overall DNA. You can war room, plan, do anything that tries to predict what's going to come next. If you could do that, you'd be very, very rich. So I don't think any of us can do that today. But just by doing that on a repetitive basis, you'll be able to respond faster. You'll be able to identify the action plans required and build primitives and mechanisms so that you can, over time, just continuously improve. It's a journey that never ends.
It makes a lot of sense.